All right.
Another episode of The Prince Code.
Two angry men. Haig, I think we have to talk about something very important. You know what that is?
Tell me.
How we escaped the 9 to 5 rat race and started living out a free life.
So our origin story.
Yeah, how long has it been? 2 years?
Feels like a long time, but it's only been like 2 years, yeah.
2 to 3. We did it pretty late too, huh?
Yeah, we were old bastards.
Yeah, we're not like these 18-year-old kids living in Miami. Like we lived pretty normal and, pretty shitty too for a while. So I think 2 to 3 years is enough time also that we've been in it long enough and we're still fresh out of it too. We're not like these jaded people, trying to give advice to young men about, business.
Absolutely.
So I think we're the right people to talk about this. Would you say so?
Yeah, if I wanted to escape the rat race and leave my 9 to 5 job, what I would definitely do is listen to this video. Because we're fresh out of it.
100%. And where do you think we should start, man?
I think first we have to explain the concept to those who don't understand it of The Truman Show and what it is and how it applies to your life and why you need to leave the show as fast as possible.
Yeah, Haig and I came up with this concept. If you've watched the movie The Truman Show, so it's Jim Carrey, I believe, and he's like in this show, and he never chose to be in the show, right? And he kind of figures it out, and he tries to leave. And every time he tries to leave, people just force him right back in it. Like his best friend just comes with some beers. He's like, "Yeah, you're going crazy, man. You're tripping out. There's nothing to see outside of the city. Come back." And anytime he tries to take a vacation, his wife just tells him, "No, we can't take a vacation now because this, and this." And then he starts realizing, holy shit, they don't want me to leave. I feel like I'm like in this show and I can't leave no matter what I do. And I feel like that's kind of like how our lives were. And to be quite frank, every man right now is in the Truman Show.
Definitely.
It's because we didn't choose, right?
No.
You're kind of like just, there's a program.
No one chooses to be in the show. You're simply born in the show.
Yeah, and we could prove that, right? Because think about most men. What job do they work? What degree do they have? What school did they go to? What city were they born in? You don't choose these things, right?
You don't choose anything about your life.
You don't choose anything. You just go with the flow.
Like me, for example, I worked more jobs than I can remember. If I tried to remember all the jobs I've worked, shitty, low-paying jobs, I cannot tell you all of them.
Bro, you worked at Macy's 3 times. The third time was like, every time you left Macy's, you thought you were going to make it out, right?
So
it's like the Truman Show.
I worked at Macy's, and every single time I came up with some grand master plan, and I'd work enough just to save up some working capital, then I'd quit and try to make it work with the capital I had. And I'd always have to come back to Macy's because they were the only place that hired me. And I remember every single time Walmart rejected my application.
Oh my God, bro.
Maybe they needed someone much more retarded.
That's wild.
For the job.
That is wild.
But I remember every single time I would go back to Macy's, they'd put me through orientation and make me watch this HR brainwashing propaganda for 2 hours. And then every single time I was in that room,
some like caveman in a wig telling you about how he's a woman or something.
Yeah. And then I'd be watching the video and I'd tell myself, I cannot believe I'm back here watching the same thing over again every single time. I just somehow always end up back at Macy's, no matter what I do. This is the Truman Show. This is a pure example of the Truman Show. If you try to get out of the parameters of the Sea Haven, you're going to get dragged back in somehow, some way.
And I feel like the first thing is realizing you are in the Truman Show, because most idiots don't even realize. They just go with it. They die that way. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to retire at this age." No, they're screwed.
Absolutely.
So the thing is, the first step is realizing that you are in the Truman Show. Like, in the movie when he just realizes, he's like, holy shit, like he sees that the woman and the guy in the bicycle, like just at the same spot every single day. He's like, holy shit, wait up. And he's trying to explain to his wife. It's like realizing, understanding that, holy shit, I'm in some sort of a script right now that's written for me. And I have to break the script. I have to go off script and write my own. So you have to realize it. So both of us, we've worked these shitty jobs.
Absolutely. In order for you to finally escape the cycle, break the script, there's a script written for you, and that's why you're in the show. You have to follow the script. And you're never going to be able to leave this 9 to 5 rat race unless you break the script. You have to disavow the director's orders. They have a set of orders for you. Your life is going to go this way. At 3 o'clock, you're going to take a break. You're going to go to the convenience store, buy the plantain chips, sit in your car, and ponder about your fucking existence. And then rush back in the store. You try to catch some sleep in your car, but then you're fucking 5 minutes late. It's all a script.
It's kind of crazy how you just explained my life 3 years ago. That's so miserable. Remember when I worked at the car dealership? I'd wake up and I just put like cold water in my coffee because I didn't have time. And I just chug it. And I would get there on time. It's 9 sharp. And that dickhead manager would still shit on my life and just lie to the other managers. He's like, you didn't come in at 9. I said, fucking check the footage, bro. Check the footage. I was. They're just getting treated like dog shit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And growing up, I don't know what it was. I can't really explain to you. But I just knew I wanted something more out of life. Even when I was like 13 or 12, my father would be driving me to school and he would ask me, what are you going to do when you get older? And I really couldn't answer him because I didn't know if what I wanted even existed. A major was not what I wanted. And as Don and I got older, we thought that music would be our great escape into, the life that we wanted. We thought that if we were skilled enough in music and we put enough time into it, that it would buy us our dream life. We've always wanted more from life. We always wanted freedom. Freedom was the number one most important thing. I value freedom, having a good lifestyle.
I think, when we first started like watching some James Bond movies and just seeing James Bond, you're like, you thought in your head, I want to be James Bond in real life.
Absolutely.
He's in a different country. He always seems to be well dressed. He has money to do shit. I don't know how.
Somehow.
He has the prettiest girls.
Yeah.
He's just living life.
And the reason why I'm telling you about this whole music bullshit, right, is that most of the times you will not achieve the type of lifestyle you want by doing something you're passionate about. That's the biggest mistake that you can make. I've wasted about like 6 or 7 years of my life dedicating it to a craft that I thought I was passionate about. But you really have to sit down and ask yourself at a certain point, right? I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years. Sure, we saw some success with music, right? We got millions of views on our songs. You made like several $1,000s at most from the music. It wasn't going anywhere though. Millions of views will not buy you that kind of life that you're thinking it will from music. It means nothing in music.
If it's not the right views.
It's not the right views. So you have to sit down and ask yourself at a certain point, what is it that I want from life? Is it actually the music that I want, or am I doing the music as a vehicle to get to where I'm trying to go in order to live a lifestyle of freedom and fun and travel, have a good lifestyle? And if it's truly the freedom that what you're after, it's not the actual act of doing what you're passionate about, then we have something to work with. We can make a plan somehow.
Listen, you can do what you're passionate about when you make money.
Absolutely. If you have like a business generating you like $30,000 a month and it's something you're not passionate about at all, and it requires you to sit down on spreadsheets for like 1 or 2 hours every day, then guess what? After those 1 or 2 hours, you can do music at the highest level possible. You can use the best equipment, Neumann microphones, everything. Everything you need will be right there.
And I'd argue that even with a personal brand in today's day and age, you can do something you're even passionate about and make money. Like if you have the right passion. For example, we were very, like in our music journey, we weren't the type of people that liked, making silly videos and we were like more mysterious. Like It just wasn't in us back in the day, right? But if you're the type of a guy that wants to make a personal brand out of it and makes videos, you can. Like listen, the possibilities are endless, but what you're saying is so true. You got to kind of put money first in a way.
Yeah,
rather than passion.
There's a bigger point here that I wanted to make is that after, my business started making that $30,000 a month, I just didn't have the desire to do music anymore. I just didn't anymore. It was not what I was after. I still love music to this day. It's definitely a passion of mine. I love music, right? But I was just walking around in Italy, eating whatever food I wanted. I wouldn't look at the price of the menu. I was day drinking, smoking fine Cuban cigars, wearing nice clothes, talking to pretty girls, Italian sunshine. I just didn't feel, I had what I wanted. Like, I didn't have to do anything more. This is exactly what I wanted. Freedom. I could wake up and do whatever the hell I want.
100%. So let me go back a little bit, bro. So now that you told them all this, let's take them back through the journeys, the 9-to-5 journeys. And I want to give them kind of like a step-by-step guide of what to do to get out of it, right?
Okay.
Because there was times I was delivering Amazon packages. You were working on the agency. You know, if you guys don't know, Haig and I had a lead generation agency. Haig was, you know, the founder of it. He was doing most of the work while I was working at Amazon job, trying to take care of the bills. And Haig would sit home all day and try to make the business take off. So many times, bro, I'd call you. I'm like, did you sign a client? The first client, you'd be like, nah, it didn't work. It's so many times, just heartbreaking moments. And I'd just be on the road, man, driving that truck. I was like, dude, when are we going to make it out? And then eventually it wasn't even working. And then you had to get a job again because we didn't have enough money. We were both working at a car dealership.
So I want to actually add more detail to the story, right? When I got the job again, it was because I took out a loan in order to pay for a program for very special information, very niche information. The biggest barrier always for me has been information. I was always a very dedicated person. Whatever I put my mind to, I would do. When I was very young, I wanted to learn guitar. I set my mind to it. I failed and failed and failed. I eventually learned guitar. Usually whatever I set my mind to, I could do it at the highest level. Then when we wanted to do music, right? I wanted to make professional sounding music, and I learned mixing and mastering to the highest degree. I spent 6 years of my life learning it. Some hard, technical, dorky, nerdy shit. So I know that about myself. Whatever I want to do, usually I can do it. If I dedicate myself to it, it's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's gonna happen.
Information.
Information is the biggest barrier that was holding me back from escaping this rat race. So what I did is I seeked out the right person, went on a call with him. He told me the price. It was $6,000. Now the business was running at this point, but it was making no money. I had like a few $1,000s laying around from clients that I was doing my best for.
But you were kind of spending it too on the programs you needed. So basically, the clients were giving Haig like $1,000, $2,000, maybe $3,000,
Yeah.
and Haig was still spending that much money to keep the business afloat. So he was basically at zero.
So my plan was I have $3,000. He's charging me $6,000. I'm gonna get a loan for $3,000. I'll have $6,000 to pay him. But just in case, in the off chance it doesn't work, I need to have a job so that I can pay back the loan for the $3,000 because I took it from somebody it wasn't some bank. It was somebody I knew personally. So I had to make sure I could pay this guy back because I'm a man of my word. I'm not gonna take a loan and not pay it back.
Luckily, he had the right info. Like, I know in today's day and age, there's a lot of people selling shit. I'm sure there's a lot of scams out there, but there are some good people left, man, and they are giving you the right info.
Do your research.
I think that's actually what you said is so important. The thing holding most people back is just the info. Because I remember so many times in our life, bro, we were like thinking, what do we have to do to make the money? Like, we just didn't know. We knew we were driven. We worked very hard. We tried real estate too. It was just, what do we do? We need someone telling us, do A, B, C, D, and then you get this.
That was the problem. Like, I always knew that whatever I set my mind to, it's going to happen. Like with the guitar thing, right? I had a friend that showed me the ropes with the guitar. If I didn't have him, it would take maybe four years to learn it. But I had someone that they are teaching me how to do it. I needed the same thing with this money deal. I needed the same thing with escaping the 9-to-5 rat race. How do I start a functional business that makes me like $10,000 a month? I did not know how. After I got the information, maybe I would say from the moment I got it, it was in April of 2023, right? By the end of that year, in December, I was cash flowing $30,000 a month.
Because you also worked hard too. Not only you had the info, you worked hard.
I worked very hard.
If you're lazy, you can still have the information.
No. A lot of people purchased the same program that I did and they failed. They failed outright because they didn't have the work ethic that I had. When I set my mind to something, it's going to get done. There's no question about it. That combined with the right information, if that's you, right? You know that about yourself. You're a very hardworking person, but you can't keep working hard at your job that pays you $2,000 a month. You need the information. That's the only thing holding you back. If you're a dirtbag, a bastard that does not put in the work, you're lazy, it doesn't matter what information I give you. I can take the horse to the water. I can't force it to drink the water. If you have these two things, the information, and you're a hardworking, dedicated person, there's nothing holding you back from escaping your shit job and living a life of freedom.
And
Nothing.
one thing about us, we always had our brotherhood. I don't know, a lot of people might not have that. A lot of people might have it. But I think it's super important, man. For accountability, man, in everything. Like even in working out and eating right and everything.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, you need a partner in crime. It's always better. Even for example, when you weren't working and I was working at Amazon, even though it didn't really work out and you had to eventually get a job again,
How would I feel, right? If I was sitting at home, fucking off all day, and you were working at Amazon, working to pay the bills. How would I feel as a person?
You had to do it.
I had to make it happen. There's no alternate reality where it would happen. I'm going to make it happen.
Dude, there's some days I work 12 hours, 13 hours. I'd come home at like 10 o'clock. We'd still hit the gym after that too. See, imagine I came home and I saw you just eating Cheetos and sleeping.
I had to begin a campaign of endless brainwashing and propaganda against my own self. And the reason why I had to do that is because at this point, I never had seen more than $2,000 a month in my entire life. And I had a goal that felt completely unrealistic. Now, 10 grand a month isn't so much to me now. It's not that big of a deal. It's pretty fucking normal. Obviously, of course, you make 10 grand a month to make more than that. But at that time, I never could fathom making 10 grand in a single month.
That's where you have to start.
That's where you have to start. I had to brainwash myself into thinking there's no chance I'm not going to hit that. I made, eventually, 3 times that amount. I made 30 grand in a single month by the end of that year.
So quickly. No, it was very quickly. By the end of the year, we were already near the end of the year. It was so quick, man. We went from nothing to something so quickly. It was insane. And
because we had the right information,
yeah,
we had the work ethic, and we stuck to it for a long enough period of time with accountability to keep you on track, is that it seems very fast changing your life in, let's say, 9 months. That's what I did, right? Or 8 months, something like that. But when you're actually in month 4, in the middle of it, and shit's still not working, you're going to want to give up. I was working at a car dealership, right? I was selling cars, and then I would sell a car, you hand off the keys, and I'd go to the bathroom, answer some emails, make $500 in the fucking toilet stall, walk back out. Then for a lunch break, I'd drive home as fast as I can to take a client call and sell him on my service.
Man, you were working like crazy. I remember it.
Animals.
You didn't have a second to yourself back in the day, bro.
No. But that's exactly why I made it happen. I made a lot of sacrifices. I wasn't out doing dumb shit. I had accountability. I have to do it for my brother. He's working his ass off at a job too we had a vision, and we have to make this vision happen. He's doing his end of the deal, so I have to do my end of the deal. If I'm fucking off, it's not going to work. And it got to a point, I remember I was talking to my father, and I was telling him about, what was going on. And I told him, yeah, this month I made double my salary from what I was making at the dealership for my own business, completely online. And he was actually the one that said, hey, at this point, you kind of have to quit, man. You have to quit. Like, it's never going to go anywhere if you stay at your job, if you need that security. And he's the person that told me to quit. He said, worst case, if it doesn't work out, you can always get a car dealership job. It's not a big deal. But this is your chance. And I listened to him, and I quit. And then Dom was still working at the job for like the next 3 or 4 months. And when that 3 or 4 months was up, I literally told him, hey, it's time to quit, man. We made like 12 grand this month.
We got a crazy ass car, started traveling, doing crazy. It was insane. It was so quick, bro. I literally.
And then from the moment I told him it's time to quit, like a month and a half or 2 months after that, we were cash flowing 30 grand a month. Fucking off in Italy, scratching our sack. We had a car we were paying for back home that we didn't even fucking drive. That cost more than my old rent.
It was a good car, man.
Insurance, I didn't give a shit. I was paying for all of it. Car, yeah. I was paying for 2 cars, and I was in Italy. I wasn't even driving them.
2 cars, insurance. Dude, that's going from where we were at to that is crazy. And you know what? I think so many people can do it if they just apply themselves.
Absolutely. And I want to tell you, this Truman Show thing is not a joke. When I first started the business, before I took out that loan, and I remember I was doing real estate at the time. So right after music, we got into real estate because we wanted to just make money. We wanted to be like...
And when we say we did real estate, we didn't sell shit, by the way. We just got our licenses, all bullshit.
Bro, so basically it took us a few months of studying, and then we had to take the test. It was in La Palma, California. So I had to drive 3 fucking hours to take this stupid test to get my real estate license. Like, I need permission. I need a license to do real estate, as if it's some crazy shit. Any dumbass can do real estate. It's not a big deal. So I end up getting the license, and Don and I, we're doing this together. We both get a license. We pass the test. We end up, choosing this section of our hometown. Like, it's a pretty rich area to knock on doors all day in the blistering heat of California, 100 degrees or more, right? We were knocking on doors, sweating our asses off. And we did this for a few months. And I remember this one particular day, it was in the heat of July. We were knocking on doors all day, no success. We didn't even sell a single house. So we just go to a cafe. We went to Starbucks to just, get a coffee and just cool off for a bit. And as I was having my coffee, I look at Don and I tell him, this shit isn't gonna work. He's like, why? I said, let's think about it, right? Right now we're like in $25,000 debt. If we sell a house, we're gonna get a very small commission on that house, like probably like 10 grand if we sell that house over there, right? Am I right or wrong? He said, yeah. Okay, so I said, even if we knock on doors all day and sell that house, it won't even be enough to pay off our debt. Forget like when you get money, you have to pay for your living, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your car insurance, you have to pay for all these things and your groceries, and it's not cheap in America. We can't even pay off our debt and afford to cover our life if we sell this house. In the off chance someone gives us a chance to sell the house, what chance do we stand doing this? And that's when we decided to do the online business thing. And I remember there was one particular time, I had a friend who's also doing real estate. And we went to this real estate event in the area, and one evening they had some like opening party for a new office. It was in Keller Williams' office. And I was telling him after the event, we were walking down the street. We went to get some dinner at some chicken place. We were all sitting down, Don, me, and my friend. And I was telling him about my plans, what I'm going to do, the online business. And that was the moment I realized the Truman Show is absolutely real. I told him the plan, how the business works, how much I'm going to charge the clients, how I'm going to get paid, everything, the whole deal, the business plan, I told him. And in the most convincing way, he told me exactly why it wasn't going to work. He broke down some math that was actually incorrect, but it looked very convincing.
It's not even his fault.
And for one moment, right, I was like, you know what? He might be right. This actually might not work. Of course, like, I've never seen a 10 grand month. This is all speculation at this point. He might be right. The math looks convincing. This is the Truman Show. There's Marlon in the Truman Show. Once you realize that this is all a show with paid actors, none of this is real. It's all a script written for you. There's directors behind the scenes basically directing your entire life, what you're going to do, how you wake up in the morning, what time you set your alarm, what you eat for lunch every single day, what time you take a break. All this shit is planned. What show you're going to watch on Netflix is all planned by the directors.
All right, 100%. So now knowing all of this, everything we said, I want to give them a basic guide on after you wake up and realize, that your life kind of has a script that you didn't write. You're in the Truman Show.
Not kind of, 100%.
100% does, yeah. How to get out. What advice would you give? Let's say there's some kid right now, 18, all the way up to 30, 35, right? Whatever. It doesn't even matter how old you are. You just want to really make a business online. What would you tell them to do? Right? Because there's a lot of routes you can go through. Like, there are a lot of things. And a lot of them work too, but some are better than others.
Step number one to breaking the script is an audit. Let's say there's a squad in the military. They're gonna execute this crazy hostage rescue. What is the first thing they do? They don't just barge in there with guns, all macho and muscly and fucking MP5s through the door. That's not how it works. There's a lot of planning involved. You need brains. So the first thing I would do is audit my situation. How do you do that? What resources do I have right now? Do I have a lot of time and no money? Time can be a resource as well. The ability to work on something for a long period of time. Perhaps you have $10,000 set aside, then you're in a different situation. Let's say you're the kind of guy that has the $10,000 set aside. You have access to way more business models than the guy that has no money at all. If you have no money at all, then you need to do some kind of business with very low startup costs, for example. But if you have money, you can skip all the steps and get to making money faster. You have to audit your situation. What do you have you can do right now?
And honestly, people have no excuses. We've done multiple businesses online. I've even helped people build personal brands, and I had no money, and we made so much money doing that, man.
So unfortunately, you're not here so I can tell you what to do. But
basically videos, man.
The best way is, I guess, to give you my own situation. I audited myself, and I had no money, but I did have a brother, and we were both on the same page. So the way we were going to make it work is that I was going to work on the business, Don was going to work a job and make the money, and that was our plan. We had no money to put in the business. I had about $150 and an email account. So I'm going to use the $150 to get all of the software I need on a budget to make this business work, the minimum viable amount of software I need. And I'm going to use this email account to outreach every single day and talk to as many business owners as I can. That was the plan. Eventually, I was able to make it work with limited information just from YouTube. And I was making like $1,500, $2,000 a month, nothing enough to live a free life, obviously. And that's when the loan thing came in. I seeked out the right person that has the information that I need. And I already had 3,000 laying around by that point because of all the money I made, with the limited information that I had enough clients to make $1,000 or $2,000 a month. I had like $3,000 laying around. I took that loan at that point because I knew that that was the right move that I needed. And in order to secure myself and make sure I'm a man of my word and I paid back that loan, I got the job, and it all worked out from there. The plan worked perfectly because I stuck to it enough for a long enough period of time. It took like 9 months from start to finish.
Also, I'd like to say, we moved with a lot of speed, man.
Absolutely.
Even with real estate, because we thought real estate was going to be the thing that got us out. We literally did the tests. We passed a real estate exam. We knocked on doors, realized it wasn't going to work. Then we did another agency online. We continued. When we had something in our heads, we decided, okay, we don't want to live a normal life. We don't want to clock in every day. We didn't just sit there and think one day we're going to get out. We got to figure out the right thing.
There's no one day. One day never comes.
A lot of people they had that in their head, and they say, oh, one day when I get this much money, when I do this, I'm going to do this. No. Speed. Okay, real estate. Boom. Let's get our license. Let's knock on doors. That doesn't work. Let's do this other thing. Quickly. Boom. Do it.
One important thing is that one day in your head, you want to know what that one day looks like, is that one day when it's still uncomfortable and it feels very scary, you still do it, and that's the one day. It's never just going to happen like that, like slowly. No. One day you're going to fucking be in an uncomfortable spot and choose to make a decision. That's what one day looks like.
The moment we have a new idea or a new thought, we act on it within the hour. And we still do that now. All our friends do that too that are in online business. Like everyone's just so quick. For example, let's say we had an idea, right? For an agency. All the emails would be sent out as quick as possible. The landing page would be there, ready. You'd be ready to go on a call that second. Everything would just be ready. And if it failed, it failed. And if it didn't, it didn't. If it failed, great. You already know it doesn't work, so you can move on to the next thing. And if it worked, great, you won. This is why speed is so important. You have to act quick. You can't just sit down and jerk off to the idea of starting a business. You have to do it. You have to apply it. Super important.
Absolutely. So if that's you right now, you're in that same situation, I feel you. I was there too. You need to audit your situation. You need to realize that you're in the Truman Show. It is in fact real. There's going to be Marlins trying to put you back in the show. There are directors that are directing your entire life. Audit your situation. Have all the resources available. Whatever's available to you, you're going to use every single one of them. That is your leverage. Whatever resources you have will be your leverage to escape the Truman Show. And if you stick to doing whatever you're going to do for a long enough period of time with enough determination, enough consistency, with the right information, you're going to break the script and escape the show. You can live a life of freedom.
100%. Stop waiting. If you watch this video, don't get motivated and then go back to your normal life. Click off the video and find something. Find a vehicle to get out. Find what it is. There's a million things you could do right now that can help you make money online, and a lot of money online. Find it and just go after it. Start. Work on whatever you need to work on. That's it. Don't sit down and have this in your head. You just got motivated and scroll and think, oh, I'm going to start. Just go.
Maybe perhaps this video excites you because someone escaped the show. Someone that was in your situation 2 years ago escaped the show. But the reality is, if you're excited right now, you're going to wake up tomorrow and just feel like dog shit. You're not going to want to do. The excitement will wear off.
And other than that, bro, one thing I remember was we would watch videos like this sometimes. But when you actually do it, it feels scary. For example, when you sign your first client, it feels scary. You're like thinking, what do? I don't know how to do it. This is it. You have to be afraid. You have to, and you have to just make it work. You're not going to know everything. You're not going to be a professional unless you try it. What makes you a professional isn't learning everything. You don't go into a boxing ring after watching a million boxing matches and know how to box. No, you have to take the first step and do it. You're not going to be a professional at first. You might fuck up for some of your clients. This is normal. Absolutely. That doesn't mean be a dick about it. You have to obviously compensate for it, right? You don't take someone's money and scam them, but you have to start. You have to just go. If you have some sort of a service you're providing and it's not 100% locked in, you don't know exactly how you're going to deliver it, but you have a basic idea, Cool, act on it and do your best. Just go. Don't say, I don't know what to do, so I can't do it. You're fucking yourself out of money. You're fucking yourself out of actually learning the skill and being amazing at it and actually helping your clients out.
Absolutely.
So speed and grind through the uncertainty. It's so important. Don't feel like you don't know, so you're not going to start. Just do it. Take your first steps. Do it now.
Amen.